Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video we are going to look at a night vision product from the company Akaso. Now I've looked at a number of Akaso products in the past. They've always worked very well, but today's product, well, this is going to be different from any other night vision product that I've ever taken a look at, and the fact that this is, from what we're being told, full color night vision, which I have not yet seen on another unit. Now, I know of some other brands that do sort of what they're calling the full color night vision products, but I have personally never tested them on my channel, and I've never seen a sort of more consumer grade or general sort of consumer grade product in a reasonable price range that is full color, with just a few exceptions. So this should be very fun. And so before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Akaso who did provide this for review. But as you can see here, Seemor 200. Again, this should be pretty interesting, where having color at night is a little bit surreal, just from the standpoint that, you know, the human eye itself sometimes struggles to pick up color at night. And the fact that we should have the ability to see some detail and see everything clearly, and if this product performs as well as other Akaso products, we should be in very good shape. Now, not only did they provide the unit itself, but a memory card, so I will be able to record the footage and hopefully be able to give you a nice detailed review here today. Now, as we bust this out of the package, this has obviously the unit itself. Fairly small compared to some of the units that we've looked at in the past. Now, these always range in size from larger units to even smaller. This is, I would say, medium to smaller than medium, and is on the smaller side from what I've reviewed in the past, both from Akaso, but from other brands as well. 2 battery packs here, so this is a little bit different, where generally you don't get battery packs like this. So 2 battery packs, Seemor 200 rechargeable lithium-ion battery packs, 3.8 volts, 3,250 milliamp hours, translating to 12.35 watt hours of power. And again, we have 2 of these, a carrying strap, lens cleaning cloth, USB Type-C cable, and your user's manual. Now, as we flip this over, you'll notice that this actually only utilizes one of these battery packs at a time. So that's nice, the fact that not only does this come with a replaceable battery, but they give you 2 of them. So that's fantastic. Now, we're going to have to test a little bit to see how long each one of these lasts, but that is awesome that it comes with a backup. But you can see as we open up this port here, your USB Type-C charging port, and then the port for the memory card. And then beside, you can see a tiny little hole right there. That is the microphone, and I wonder if there's more than one. Sometimes these units having more than one microphone, but it looks like it's here on the bottom, that hole right there. Just be careful to leave that open while you're using this. And then on the front, your objective lenses, what should be the IR emitter, the screen on the back, and I'm curious if we already have just a little bit of juice here. So holding down the power button, let's see what happens. And it does appear as though, oh, we're coming to life. And you can see there the menu button. I'm going to have to get this unit set up and ready to go. Should be pretty straightforward, so I'm going to do that now. As we go across the top of the unit, mode, menu, and shot. So that's probably going to be start and stop on the actual recording. IR and zoom modes here. This is pretty standard and straightforward, and like many of the other units we've seen in the past. Now, the shot button is usually the OK button, which it is. Just getting everything set up inside the unit. Now, what I do like as you go through this, you can hear It's actually got a nice illumination here. Nice illumination in green. That's incredibly helpful when you're out in the field. That is going to make a massive difference using this in the dark. So not only does this kind of beep while you're pressing the buttons, which is awesome, but the fact that this lights up green, that is a savior when you're out in the field. Akaso, that is brilliant, and already I can tell you that is nicely done. And just to clarify, if you don't like some of these settings, like you don't want the lights or the beep or all that stuff, that is all, really customizable functions that you can turn on and off in the menu. Now, I don't think I would do that, but you can certainly do so. There are a number of different options in here. Wi-Fi hotspot, we might play with that. The brightness and the button lights and the screen timeout and all that stuff. There's a compass in here, which, let's see. Turn that on for the argument. There's a level. We'll also turn that on for the argument. Now with that, let's get this charged up. I'm going to plug this into the USB Type-C charging cable. We'll get it all plugged in, charged up, and let's hit the field for some field use. And so now getting outside for the field use, it is getting dark, nice and cold, chilly night, and I am leveraging the microphone of the unit itself to record the audio. So the first thing I'm going to say is a lot of times these microphones are very boxy. They don't have a great audio feed, but it should be at least enough to either annotate or pick up general sounds, again, depending on what you're trying to do. A lot of times as you're touching the unit, it can sound a little bit boxy. It can pick up on some of your actions. You can see as I kind of shake the camera around and touch the buttons, sometimes the microphone will pick that up. So a little bit of a test here for the mic. But assuming everything's going okay here, I actually have it in the color mode. Now, this is not IR just yet. This is fully zoomed out. So this is the one-time zoom, and you can see pretty well. In fact, I can see a nice mirror image right on the river. Very calm night tonight. Not a lot of wind, not a lot of movement in the water. Everything very, very calm. And this actually looks pretty good. As I look out with my naked eye, I literally can't see any of this. So the fact that I can see it as clearly as I can right now with the binoculars is a good thing. Now, I'm not sure about the actual camera footage as it's being recorded. Keep in mind the fact that there is a vast difference between the user's experience and the recorded footage. So it's not exactly a one-to-one with the recorded footage and how it is looking in the screen. But as I look in the screen, everything fairly clear and fairly easy to make out across the way. Now, if there was something moving over there, I would certainly be able to tell. And if there was an animal, I would certainly be able to tell. And one of the things that I'm going to point out right away is the fact that I am working off of a tripod, which is really important for a device like this. You can see as I start to move around and pan around, because of the frame rate of this particular type of device, it can be very disorienting if you don't work off of a tripod. So a tripod is definitely a must. But now as I settle down, looking off into the distance, I am rotating the focus. Now this is a manual focus only. This does not have any automatic mode, and there is a lot of adjustment on the focus. I'm taking my time, dialing it in, and this can see way off in the distance with a ton of clarity. And when I tell you, I literally cannot see as much as 10 feet in front of me because of how dark it is. The fact that I can see all the way to the end of this scene with relative clarity is amazing, and you can actually really see the cars clearly. For me, it's just a simple little tail light going by. It's a simple little headlight coming by, but in this particular scene and with the binoculars, you can see everything really lighting up. So I would say the sensor is very sensitive, and it is doing a great job. Now keep in mind, on top of the unit, these buttons do light up. So they light up when you touch them, which is nice. And just showing you here real quick how these do light up. You can see the power button on top, your plus and minus for the zoom, menu, mode, shoot mode. So this does work very well. Now, as we continue to look in the screen here, this gives you an example of what I see in the viewfinder. You can see that it does have that horizon mark and that level. That does not seem to be calibrated from what I could tell. It's definitely off quite a bit. So that's a little bit of a miss. Has a compass down in the bottom, which I think is probably reasonably accurate. And then you can see the general user's interface at this point. But as I come off of the camera, I mean, you can really see how dark it truly is. Very, very dark. And as we take a look here, I mean, that is just lighting up the scene nicely. So again, very effective. One thing about these units that's typically a miss as I zoom in, digital zoom. I am not a big fan of digital zoom. To me, digital zoom is pretty much useless. Sometimes these units do struggle to record as you press through the zoom mode and they get all wonky. So I'm hoping I'm not going to find that the footage is all messed up as it records and sort of digitizes onto the card. So I'll annotate below, but you can see just a real tough picture once you start talking about that digital zoom. And even as I move my way all the way in, I mean, almost a useless picture when if this was just optical zoom and leveraged the optics and the quality of lenses, it would be much more effective. And I do see that the counter and timer on top of the record button at this point does seem to have ticked over. So I hope that everything is in alignment. My audio is clear and I don't have any issues, but it's possible that I do. Changing the scene here again, trying to dial in the focus. Now you need to take your time and just go really slow. There is a ton of adjustment on this particular unit, and at this point you can see, looking all the way across, fairly clear. A little bit of color in there. You can see with the grasses that there's color. You can see in the trees just a little bit of color, not a ton, but there is definitely some. Now, if we're going to go to that infrared mode, here with the infrared mode, this is IR mode number 1. And I feel like at this point, everything is just really, really washed out. Now, you can go up and down with that IR sensor, but to me, this doesn't really gain me much. I feel like I was almost better off with the color mode. And just for the comparison, as I long press here, that's back into that color mode. So it is a little bit different, just a different level of detail that you get between these two modes. I feel like that infrared, and this is the least amount, I feel like that's an awful lot. It needs to be dumbed down quite a bit. Turning to the side here, I guess that's technically like a black and white mode if I had to guess. Trying to get this focus dialed in now. It's a little bit difficult in this IR mode, but that's close. Long pressing on the IR button. This is truly IR mode number 1. And you can see that IR beaming off in the distance. Kind of has a halo effect, but it really does light things up in the middle of the picture. And as this sort of auto adjusts, that's not too bad. Now I have to be careful as I hold this. I feel like my thumb was over the microphone. Hopefully that sound didn't get completely washy on you, but you can see all the grasses across the way as I zoom into the picture. The digital zoom here, not terrible, doing what it needs to do to get us closer into the picture, backing off now. That's pretty good. Another long press for the IR mode number 2, getting a lot brighter. As we go like up into the tree line here, I can now zoom into the tree line, trying to get this focus dialed in. I feel like it was pretty good where it was. If there was something up there, I would be able to see it. I don't know if I'd be able to completely positively identify it, but zooming into that picture, you can see it definitely gets very grainy when we leverage the digital zoom. Another long press, IR mode number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and that's the end of the IR range. Okay, so daytime now, changing scenery just a bit. Had a beautiful snowy evening. Just going to do a little bit of focusing here. You can see from blurry to nice and sharp. Daytime, this is beautiful. Obviously a little bit of a black and white scene here with the snow, but you can see the river. Just a nice clear picture as I look through the screen. Very nice and clear. Now again, keep in mind the fact that what you see in the screen and the recorded footage are two different things. So here you can see my scenery. This is what I get as I look in the screen. And you can see, I believe that horizon line is just a little bit off. I mean, you can see it's at an angle. To me, I feel like I have this set up very level, all things considered. But that's just a nice view. This is what I'm seeing as I look through the screen. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the recorded footage a little bit different. Now, again, as we pan around, I have this on the tripod, and you can see, as long as you're careful, the user's experience is great. And a real nice, crystal clear picture. Now, I'm going to reiterate the fact that once you start zooming with the digital zoom, it's not wonderful. That, to me, is just... it is what it is with digital zoom, but man, these would be amazing with optical zoom. I would just love to have that added to these units. And I feel like without this zoomed in, I'm not really gaining all that much over what I can see with the naked eye. So in the daytime, these become just limited use and really not quite as effective as I would like, because I can see what I can see, at one-time zoom with my naked eye. And then again, once you start using that digital zoom, it just gets really grainy. So for the daytime use, I find that these are, not really enhancing my outdoor user's experience, but rather, just kind of, I'm not going to say a gimmick. These are really more effective and useful for the nighttime application when you have no light. One thing that is pretty cool, these do have a ton of focus. So you can see the granularity in the focus, in my ability to just really focus on things that are super close up. That is really nice. I do like that. And, some units don't have quite the same focus range, where these have a massive focus range. So I have the ability to focus up close, and then dialing this in way off into the distance. I kind of get the benefit of both. So you can do some cool things with these. You can get some nice imagery and, use these a little bit like a video camera in a way. But to me, there are other things, other devices that would do a better job. So in my opinion, although these are really cool and allow you to get some decent footage of wildlife or something like that, I really do want to see that optical zoom. Add the optical zoom to these, and these would actually be amazing. And so, all right, guys, the Seemor 200 night vision binoculars from Akaso. Generally speaking, really cool. I do like the fact that these are trending in the right direction. They're introducing the color. They have that awesome lit up panel on top so that you can actually see what you're doing at night. Generally speaking, really easy to get these set up, and they have a nice clear picture. Now, I do have to say, if these had the optical zoom, it would put them right up at the top in terms of some of the better units that I've tested in the past. I do like the overall size, the general form factor, and one thing that I do want to point out, these are a very nice size from the standpoint that they do fit directly inside your standard binocular case, and this for me is a, chest harness. So really nice that they fit in here and fit in here effectively. It works out extremely well for the ease of carry. And so I have had other sort of larger units in the past that I greatly enjoyed and that just performed extremely well. But because they're bigger, they don't necessarily fit in standard equipment. So I think Akaso got the size of these literally perfect. And the other thing that's awesome, the dual batteries. I love having the 2 batteries. That's going to work extremely well. Now, I would like to see an alternate means or way to charge the batteries outside of the unit. Right now, you're stuck charging through the unit, which means you need to put a battery in, charge it, and then if you want to charge the other battery, you need to put that in the unit and charge it. It would be even better just to have the ability to charge that battery externally. But all in all, I do like these. I think Akaso's definitely on the right track. They're trending towards the top in terms of the quality of the units that I've tested between the clarity of the picture, the overall settings, the general features, and that color capability. They just need to introduce a version with that optical zoom. And so, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for following along. Take a look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links to the people at Akaso. Thank you so much for providing this for review. And again, for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel's going quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.